and Twitch. International Master William Pascal. So we're streaming here on lichess playing Blitz. Just 5-3 casual if you'd like to challenge me. Please do so, but you've got to have an established account based on 100 games or more, please, on lichess. No provisional players. Alright. I'm ready to get started. Gonna share this. And we are off. What is up, guys? Welcome from Budapest, Hungary. Masturbate, good to see you. Close that. Alright, guys and girls. Everybody, what's up? What is up? Masturbate. Sorry, a little bit of a late start here. 10 minutes late. Happens. I'm human. Was busy this morning. Lots of stuff to get ready. So, let's find some challenger here in the lobby to start with Dracofires here, actually. Alright, Dracofire. We will play you. We don't need to go to the lobby. Good to get started. I haven't seen Troll in a while. Has Troll left us? The troll who left the building. I like to play everything with white. C4, D4, knight f3, G3. Not F4 and B3 seriously, but those moves are obviously plausible as well. So Dracofire, you're playing the B3 type repertoire with both colors here. Interesting. Oh, in defense. Of course, a lot riskier with black than with white. This actually would be an English defense if black played E6. Troll was here yesterday? I can't remember what happened yesterday, or I can't even know like which is yesterday or the day before that anymore. I don't even know which day it is. This is a very strange setup he's doing with D6. I mean, E6 is a normal move. I played myself a lot. But D6 is odd. Not as dynamic, not allowing for the development of this bishop. I would call it inherently passive for black. Fianchetto not that effective in this sort of structure. Essentially trying to play a sort of hedgehog. I mean, like hippo. Hippo, hedgehog, they're animals, right? So, I never had anyone attempt to play something like this in a real game. Like, normally when they play the hippo, they'll play like G6, Bishop G7 to start sometimes. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. There's not a lot of pressure on D4, so I think because of that it's safe to play Bishop D3, which would otherwise kind of obstruct my protection of D4. I've got to watch this diagonal, but you know, F5 is pretty bad. Objectively, I think D5. He's got a bad Benoni here. Bad Benoni. And then E5. Calculate. Can I take en passant and get anything there? Probably not. So no, my whole position is based on a strong point at D5 and like burying him spatially, I would say. However, given my bishop here on D3, what's my king side? I can play like I played against you a lot, Acerbate, with a sort of check Benoni style setup. Things are a little different though. He can play G6, Bishop H6 here. Seems like a reasonable idea for black. This position should be excellent for white though. It's not Weird Wednesday. We're not supposed to be playing unusual openings. Dracofire, I can't imagine this really your true opening repertoire with black. Yeah, no, G6, Bishop H6 looks like a good plan for black. Strangely difficult to meet that. mean, bishop e3, queen e2 is really strange. Maybe h4. Preempting g6. The bear hug variation. I'm not afraid to use my rook pawns. Anti g6. Still, it doesn't prevent it, though. I mean, if he wants to play g6, he can still do it. I'm not sure, though. It's the best. This way. So this changes things. Now I'll play for knight g5. Or knight if f3 or knight h3. Knight h3 drops a pawn. Drakefire plays ridiculously fast. I don't know how he's 43-1. Or 1-43 against me. He's too good for that. It's odd how you could have a bad score to that extent and be quite a good player, I think. Well above the average, I would say, Drakefire as a chess player. Alright, 11 viewers. Guys, wake up. It's Friday. Welcome to the stream. Now I can play knight to g5. It looks like a good move. It's not obligatory. But you need to think, what other options do I have? Black will play knight h6, very likely. We get first. This prevents knight h6 with queen takes h5. Heading for g5. Schieberspieler would appreciate being a positionally based player. It's King's Indian motif, h4, knight g5. Played in some other openings as well. Now he can trade his bad bishop, maybe that's the simplest thing to do, but it doesn't completely erase black's disadvantage. There's a new problem that arises with the h5 pawn. If I take with the h pawn there, for starters, that looks rather problematic. Now bishop e2, I may want to reconsider the placement of bishop. Is he trying to play Blobix? Is he trying to play like f6 or something by guarding this? That's not what this is about. Is he just trying to play like knight h7 or knight g6 maybe? What is that Cobra Kai thing, Astrobate? I'm not really attuned to that. What is that in reference to? I saw something about that recently. It's like a show. G4, bit much. I'll just play G3. Weaken your position at your own risk. It's a good King's Indian for white. It's a sick individual who likes to play like this. I admit, though, I've had games. One game in particular against Victor Erdos 2-3 years ago with black. I got all my pieces on the back rank. Steinitzian retreat. Blobix, how are you? Good to see you. Great to have you participating. How are things there in France? Coronavirus resurge throughout Europe? Yeah, I thought it was Karate Kid. I tried my best my whole life not to watch The Karate Kid. It was like annoyingly overhyped when I was a kid. And I wanted to be anti-establishment, so I tried not to watch The Karate Kid. I also didn't watch E.T. when I was a kid. Because I'm like, I don't like, to get on the bandwagon. I like to be more independent. I didn't watch Karate Kid or E.T. Overrated. So what do we do here? Bishop takes or pawn takes? Yeah, I think pawn takes will create some questions about the protection of my pawn, but this is a little more dynamic. You're negative in spite of some small health troubles. So you actually got a COVID test? That's like impossible here in Hungary. Not only is it like practically impossible to find a way to get a COVID test, but it's like extremely expensive if you can. Probably in Western nations, not the case. I think to sort of, I think it's to kind of discourage people. The European Union is probably pretty pissed with Hungary, from what I understand now. What else is new? Alright, we've got some interesting tries now. France doesn't mess around. Viva la France. One of the last democratic countries left in the world. Anyway, alright, we've got the d6 pawn to attack. That's a good place to think about. What are you going to do about that? He just gives it to me. But it's not really free. It's a pseudo gift. What am I talking about? I could have taken and taken on c8. Oh my god. Alright. I'm just crazy. I was worried about e4, but I'm just taking and taking on c8. Huge blunder. But Dracofire, I mean, come on. You've got a minute left. I'm just panicking because of the time pressure. You shouldn't drop your d6 pawn. It's unbelievably fast. What's going on around here? It's a little unbelievable he could be 1 and 43 against me with the ability to play like this. Something up with that. How is that possible, dude? Guess I'll play a4, but I'm nervous that it's hard to break through here. Mr. Blockade. He likes closed positions and he's obsessed with knights. See, I missed my chance to take on d6 and take his bishop on c8. Now it may be hard to break through. I mean, I always have like f4 someday in the future. Not sure where he's going there. Where is he going with his knight? Preemptive defense. It is a knight obsession, isn't it? He let me in there. It's a good start. Eventually we'll play f4 or h4, h4, g4. You play bishop e8. I mean, you play really well. It's unbelievable that I have 44-1 against Darkfire. That's a pretty unbelievable score. He's actually quite a good player. What's up, Thomas Reinson? I missed a clear win earlier with knight takes d6 check. Just stupid. When I played knight b5, Black just leaves his d6 pawn hanging, and I saw it, but I forgot. I forgot I can take on c8. It's ridiculous. All right. We're taking challenges from everybody who has a game more than 100 games. So if you have an established account, not 3+2 though, Yuhan Chess, you guys can see the requirement below. Very obviously, 5+3 casual challenges. Not difficult. That's it. How did your tournament go? Thomas Treinson. How are you? You had a tournament? Kaisha is in the house. I'm jealous. Be nice to play tournaments. I don't have time to play. I wonder what's going to happen here with tournaments now. Possible second sort of lockdown. You won your first game. So it's like team competition or actual individual tournament. I don't think the Hungarian Team Championship is necessarily even going to happen this year. I'm not sure what's up with that. I played an individual tournament a month ago, but I don't think I'm going to have time for another one for a while, plus the increased lockdown procedures, so there may be like a second quarantine. I don't know. Alright, bishop e4 check's an interesting move. Transposing to a Rogozin. I can play bishop d2 as well, but I don't really like trading pieces when I have more space and I'm white against a lower rated player. Very good game, first game. I don't like, Dracofire's opening. I think that it gives black a huge spatial disadvantage, but he still played fairly well and tough. I'm impressed. Now queen f6 is an odd move. But we don't just attack that for the sake of attacking it with something like bishop g5. Unless you have a follow-up, that's probably a bad move. So, I think try to leave it where it is, maybe interfering with him, interfering with his own pieces, in this case, then an f6. Well, an individual tournament in Norway, okay. Well, I imagine the Scandinavian countries have a better handle on this whole virus thing. In Hungary, we're probably going to let it get out of control again. Though we were lucky the first time around. I'm not sure we're really dealing with it well. So I don't know how long tournaments will continue here. We'll see. They're talking about like a new restriction that you can't, like bars and restaurants have to close at 11 o'clock. That's the latest news to reduce the chances of virus taking over. But I would imagine like chess tournaments and things like that could. The reason I mention it, chess tournaments and things like that could. General meetings of people could be affected. I'm not sure though. There's any regulations against chess tournaments yet. Alright guys, I don't know what to do. This is a weird setup by black. I'm sort of trained while playing the white side of the Queen's Gambit not to allow like d takes c4 with tempo, but this is not really a normal position. Alright, I've got massive sunlight. It's a beautiful day here, guys. We've got awesome weather. The summer, I think, is over. We had a huge heat wave like this like last week, but finally it's the first high pressure. A high pressure system came in, and we've got really cool air for the first time in weeks. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Budapest. Perfect time if there wasn't perfect time if there wasn't pandemic. It would be the perfect time to visit Budapest. September, so late spring, early fall here is just the greatest. My favorite opening. Giannis loves chess. My favorite opening. Yeah, we had this question yesterday or before. It's Sicilian defense. I like to play the Sicilian defense with black. It's maybe the opening I played. Another favorite opening is the English opening for me, which I'm not playing in this game, but I've been playing the Sicilian and the English, which is effectively, Sicilian reverse since I was first starting out. So those openings have a special place in my chess game. I don't know, man. What are we doing here? C4? It's kind of a weird move. Doesn't seem right. He has a strange style. He's 1,097, but he seems better than that. Hypnotism. You're saying they got that herd mentality. Maybe you don't know about that. Assuming they were talking about chess and not the human anatomy. I don't know what you're talking about. Alright. I know by herd mentality, but that's a political joke. Sheep's going to the ballot box is herd mentality. I would believe. But my weather here in Budapest is so beautiful that I've got a massive glare coming in on my screen right now from the skylight. So that should soon blindingly obscure my webcam. We're not quite there yet, though. So 1,090. I mean, how can you be 1,097 and play this aggressively? I think he makes like one move tactical mistakes. We saw that last time. But of course he lost a pawn. But the aggressive spirit of Black's play would automatically, I think, make him much more dangerous than 1,097. He's aggressively deploying all of his pieces rather efficiently. His only flaw so far is dropping that pawn on d5. This, however, is probably a serious mistake. You've sacrificed a pawn, and you've got me in a pin here, which is kind of unpleasant. If there's no good reason not to, I would play bishop h5. I think you've got to maintain that pin at all costs. When you trade here, I'm taking with the queen, and queen exchange is excellent for white since I'm up a pawn already. Plus I gain the bishop pair. Do you use before the Smith-Morra? No, the Smith-Morra sucks. I'm an anti-Smith-Morra person. I've only lost one game ever to the Smith-Morra, and I had a winning position in that game. I mean, in terms of like tournament games. The Smith-Morra is a beginner's opening. It's good for absolute beginners who are learning how to play like the white side of e4. But for advanced players, it's really not good. It's not good enough at the master level. You don't see too many real masters playing the Smith-Morra, but it's good for beginners. I don't criticize the recommendation of that for beginners learning to play aggressively, but I wouldn't play it at my level, no. Alright, c4, knight b6. It's kind of a gimmick, but it does teach you to play for the initiative, which is important. Black really is an excellent player for 1,000. feel like it's Jeopardy. For 1,000, I'll take... Black is an excellent player. I just don't want my pawns to get blockaded. We have another knight person. No, I think until the rating of like 2,000, the Smith-Morrow is probably a good system. But at some point you have to graduate and realize that stronger players know how to play against that pawn sacrifice, and it's just not enough. Nazism says, I'm usually not comfortable till the end game, just got to get there. That's unusual. Most people are the opposite. They don't have much experience in end games. 1,000 and you played rook d8. Sort of an insane move. Rook d8, like leave the knight hanging to pin it with that? Really? Wow. He is a weird player for this rating. I don't get this guy. Maybe bishop c3. I mean, he should be at least like 1,500. At least 1,400. Why are you 1,000? You're 1,300 in bullet, 1,400 in rapid, but your blitz rating is like 400 points lower. Are you just like forfeiting a lot of games or something? Oh, you're talking about the Smith-Morrow specifically. Well, I mean, I just try to play chess. I don't really necessarily think about endgame from the opening. I mean, it's possible to play with the endgame in mind in the early stages, but not that common. Yeah, Tomas, I mean, if you like the Smith-Morrow, it's fine. I mean, it is playable. It's not completely unsound. You know, I just think that objectively, you're probably equal at best. Whereas if you take the time to learn main lines, you know, you have a chance to get an advantage. Most grandmasters will argue what I'm saying is correct, you know. But if you like it, you like it. If that's your style, that's fine. You know, I mean, I think that the most important thing, and I've said this many times, is that you're comfortable with whatever you play. That's more important than how objectively good it is. Yeah, he's just not paying attention. It was a cool idea to like pin me there, but he just sort of like left it there too long and lost a piece. For example, I'll draw the example of the King's Indian, which I usually use. Everybody who's a title player will probably agree that the best system for white against the King's Indian is the classical King's Indian, where white takes the whole center with d4, e4, c4. But, you know, it requires a lot of thought, and it's not that easy to play, and you can overextend yourself. For example, I play other systems where I don't play the full pawn center like that, and it's considered to be like slightly less good. But objectively, if that works for me, you know, that's all that matters. I'm playing like e3 type setups, bishop g5 and e3 in the classical King's Indian. My results are excellent. I have something like an 80% score with white against King's Indian, and with a system that's supposed to be innocuous or whatever. It's more important that because I'm comfortable. I have a lot of experience in that type of position. Really, it would be best to resign here. There's no hope for black. I still can't figure out how he could be 1,097. He's fast and he's good. It's very, very strange. If you were like slow, I understand like you lose all your games on time. So why did you trade queen this game? I was up a piece. That's why. Alright, Cheesy Noob, Sidan, Xerox. With the queens on the board, you know, you normally are facing more chance one side makes a blunder and wins the game in one move. If you're up a piece, you should just trade down in most cases. Every time you trade a piece, there's less pieces you can drop, less blunders you can make. And if you're up a piece, it's a good idea to trade queens in general and trade pieces. So the minute I trade queens, there was almost no chance I could ever lose the game. Cheesy Noob. Oh, Cheesy Noob is strong, 2100. There are no more slow players. Yeah, but can you explain to me how that guy is 1,097? I mean, I know that he dropped a piece, but he's still at least 1,400. The only way he could be 1,000 is if he were like really slow and lost games on time, based on his playing strength. All right, Cheesy Noob, sit down. What's up? Take back. Good to see you. Sit down, Xerox. I got another rated challenge. I don't do rated challenges here on the stream because I'm talking all the time, and I don't do sudden death because I'm talking all the time. We try to be instructive. 5+3 is the only 5+3 casual is the only game I'm playing. That's the only time control we're playing today. It's very simple and it's easier that way. We can play just one time control, no questions asked. So Cheesy Noob is constantly playing like the London system, but it looks like last time I thought he did Bishop F4. Maybe not. Maybe he plays it on move 3, more of a traditionalist. Traditional London player. Let's try C5. Okay, so this is a very quiet approach, Kali system. Once white plays E3, I feel comfortable with G6. So we see white is playing essentially like a pawn triangle Slav reversed. Cheesy Noob's also very fast. I was actually some days ago I was 1600, but played so many Ultra Bullet games that I began to play very fast for a game. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know why anybody would waste their time. Honestly, I thought Ultra Bullet was created as an April Fool's Day joke. I think that it's ridiculous, That's terrible. It's harmful for you. You're just hurting yourself as a player by playing that stuff. Especially as a beginner. Maybe for a diversion, for an experienced player, for fun or something. When you're getting, you're in the early stages of learning the game, to play something like Ultra Bullet is going to mess you up. I think that's just a bad idea. This is weird. Queen C2. But I've got a little bit of glare. I've got to try to change the direction of the window here. I can't see the board well. All right, that's better. I eliminated the glare on the board. That was right. It was like cutting off my vision of the third rank here. Queen C2 is weird. Well, what are you trying to do? You're going to castle queenside or something? All right. I think the queen is vulnerable. I woke up Honda. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, dude. He's excited by this. He loves Fridays. Your first game in the tournament was the Dutch. Nice. I started thinking about playing the Dutch again. On my level here online. That's one of the openings I was always tempted to play. So what do you play, Thomas? What kind of Dutch do you play? Do you play different variations of the Dutch or just one particular line? I've always felt that the Leningrad was the best, but in all due respect, 2 world champions, Magnus Carlsen and Mikhail Baffinnik, have played the Stonewall, so that also seems like a reasonable choice. But I don't have much faith in the old Simon Williams style stuff. Even that, though, isn't that bad. So the Dutch remains playable. Anti-Dutch lines are prevalent and good. So there's a lot you have to learn if you play the Dutch. It's a very tough learning curve, I think. I have a friend who was a strong player who used to play. So you are playing the classical. I have a friend who used to play the Leningrad, but his Dutch was the Dutch was his main opening his whole life. It's a dynamic opening, great for playing for a win. I think that's why Nakamura used to play it. I don't know if he still does. It was funny to see Kamsky play the Dutch, to see Gada. And that's a relatively new addition after he, I think, came back from retirement or whatever. Because the Dutch doesn't really seem to fit Kamsky's style at first sight. But with Hikaru, Hikaru's dynamic and he played the King's Indian in the first place. And I think they're stylistically similar. But I just don't have the experience. It's just a really tough opening. I think with the Dutch you have to take a lot of losses. You really have to lose a lot of games before you learn your lessons. Okay, things are different now with more knowledge and opening information than they were, when I was playing more. Like I was at my prime 15 plus years ago, and back then things were a little bit different, a little more knowledge and information available now. But I think the Dutch still, you need a lot of time to master it. I've also been thinking about playing the Benoni, which is another opening. I had the same temptation to play it back in the day. I actually played the Benoni because I played the King's Indian, so that's a little different. But Dutch is a dramatic undertaking. Yeah, I think I remember something like that, Thomas Reinson. I think it's very possible you're absolutely correct. You may have beaten me in the Dutch. That sounds familiar. So Chisinau trades off his central pawn here. Do I have tactics with like knight takes e4? It's an explosive tactical idea. Knight e4, then some sort of discovery, but what? Knight e4, queen e4, knight e5 just doesn't really work. Complicated. Chisinau is insanely fast. He did a similar thing against me last game. This is sort of incorrect. I can't imagine like giving up your bishop for nothing here. Chisinau has sort of patterns and systems that he's comfortable with. But this exchange can't really be justifiable. Last time we had a game like h4, but he had already played h4. And he did the same exchange. Somehow he did the same exchange of his dark square bishop in a slightly different position. I don't like early on White's decision to... I try to teach chess holistically. We're playing for accumulation of advantages. Position's like an organism and you're trying to make it stronger and stronger. Trying to build your position from move one. I mean, this is a bad move. White gives up the center and you take back toward the center with b takes c. I mean, that's a mistake for White. Chisinau has kind of a different approach. Looking at this square, looking at this square. The bishop is... I was expecting to castle queenside. But I'm accumulating advantages here. Control of the center. 2 bishops. 2 concrete kind of long-term advantages for black. I think the Dutch is, it's dynamic, but it's kind of positional. I mean, it's not like the same as the Smith Mora, and oftentimes leading to closed positions. It's in terms of aggressivity, the Dutch and the Smith Mora may be similar, but you're talking about much more like closed positions. It's a different style opening in that respect. Of course, with black, you're always going to have less options than when you're white as to controlling the game. I mean, but I would think like for a tactical player who likes something like the Smith Mora, that's why I talked about the modern Benoni. The Benoni, something that leads to open positions, is more like tempting, maybe. All right, so rook d2. What am I doing? But Chisinau was a good player. I mean, he's not bad. Openings wise, I guess his biggest weakness. Doesn't have any openings. He's just kind of playing coffee house systems with no real theoretical knowledge. This is a non-denominational opening he played here. Pretty good tactically. He's fast and understands positional play to some degree, but without a legitimate opening repertoire, you're pretty handicapped against master level opposition. He's got to learn the openings. He's got to learn real openings. What was that about? Why did he just sacrifice a pawn? Didn't really get it. We should be winning this. Bishop versus knight in the endgame. See the difference? Just like the other game I played against Dracofire. That bishop in the endgame. This is probably a bad move. I think. Oh, I was going to suggest rook e1. All right, never mind. That's not a good move. There's nothing he can do here. This is hopelessly lost. See, the knight is no match for the bishop. Probably a mistake, objectively. Oh my god. I should have played that last move. I'm such a freak. But not enough pawns left for him to draw here. I mean, too many pawns left for him to draw, whatever. Not enough, too many. I don't know if there was any chances for him to set up a legit blockade, but this is a situation where he gets punished in the endgame for his middle game decision to trade his bishop. You got to think ahead. Planning for endgame structure, Astrobate. It's more like planning. Yeah, you like Benoni. That's good. I think the Benoni is the best for tactical players among the d4 openings. I never had the the guts to play it straight up. The Banco's a great opening. I think it's underrated. Now here's Xerox, good player. A3. What's A3? Interesting. Interesting idea. Like A3, B4 quickly. If I play knight F6, B4, take, D5, that's probably something I could try. But otherwise, what am I going to do about B4? It's a Polish deferred. I don't know if I've ever faced this type of move order before. It's kind of a cool idea. If I play knight C6, I'm just asking for trouble. That knight is going to get its ass kicked by B4, B5 or D4, D5. I'd like to get in D5 in the center. Let's say knight F6, B4. Knight E4, bishop E2. Actually, I have that. B4, knight E4. Which would mess up his structure. It's not fatal, and I've had positions like that with white, but maybe he doesn't want to do that right away. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to attack in the center, and then we would have a reverse Sicilian. Symmetrical English, I should say. It's not really reverse Sicilian. Reversed English, symmetrical. Wow, H4. Xerox, you're playing like Aldous, though. Your long-lost brother. What is this? What is that? Maniac move with H4. Discouraging D5? It's like, cool idea. Mamadyarov-esque. Maybe H5 worth trying here. H6. H6, H5, G5. I mean, he can't just sack H5 for nothing, probably. H6 is not stupid. The Sarah one. H4, it's coffee house. It's not that bad. It's not like white is totally incorrect. Now there's some pressure on my C pawn indirectly. B6 looks logical. So can you do like H5? I don't think so. I want to play D5 here. I could play D5 directly. Why am I not playing D5 directly? Afraid of ghosts? He's got bishop C4 tricks. That's a problem. Bishop C4 and queen takes G6. D5, take, bishop C4, bishop F5, bishop D5, no. Bishop C4, queen D6, queen G6 is guarded. Alright. They say an answer to the flank attack is to strike in the center. I'm just calculating this right away. Wasn't my expectation. He played it directly. I would say I have knight b6 now, on something like c4. Or bishop e6. Or b's. Knight takes c3 is kind of weak. I can play e6, maybe that's the safest. Provocative and interesting play by white. But I don't really like h6. I feel like I'm in a very tough position when I have to decide what to do there after h4. Like, maybe the computer would find some way to just ignore it. I feel like it's a weird concession. The engine will probably say I should have just played knight c6 and allowed h5. Maybe this isn't such a big deal. I should probably just ignore it rather than weaken my position. It's like when they bully you on the playground. Just ignore them. The h4 is the bully on the playground. So now b3. Fundamentally, black is okay here. Everything is under control. Maniac style play by white. Believe me, I've done it myself. I know from experience. I've played stuff like this with white, you know. More with black, honestly. I've probably played the black side of positions like him more often than with white. Okay, we got a little bit of supernatural haze on the webcam. That's smoke coming from the California wildfires. It's reached Hungary now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm obviously just kidding, but it can reach Europe. If you see a satellite, it's unbelievable. The smoke from the California wildfires is actually reaching Europe. It's unbelievable. I can't just sit here and tolerate this. Peace attack. F5 looks like a good move. I don't know if it's in Hungary, but it's in Europe. I mean, maybe it hasn't quite got to Hungary yet. Probably closer to Thomas Reinson. You guys probably have some California wildfire smoke in the atmosphere. F5, let's see. But this is, no, just the glare. Very hard for that glare to be evaded. King h7, knight g5 check, so we have to go back here. Would you like some coffee with your attack? Pawns are people too. Now maybe knight g5. Knight g5, hg5, hg5. Pressure on h8. Xerox is psycho today. But normally he plays, what, like e4? You play the positional piece sacrifice. Stop taking my suggestions, literally. Just keep developing. White is like the Cirque du Soleil here. Lots of acrobatics. But eventually you might lose your balance. If an accident happens, I don't want to be white. I mean, does that sound? I take on g5. How does that work? I take on g5, you take on g6, I play queen g7. You trade queens, I take it. You check me, I take on g6. Like, for reals? Maybe you'll just take back, but then I play queen g7. I mean, I don't believe this. Queen h8 check. Imagine if that worked. And now, for my next trick, bishop d7. right. I had a very minor miscalculation, but it's all under control. He's probably playing... Rook h8 doesn't work. That's what I missed, Track of Fire. I forgot he has bishop f1. I was trying to play rook h1 check. Fortunately, it doesn't quite work. Jirax is playing for a sudden death time win. He would have got me if it was 5-0, obviously. But his pace is clearly geared toward no increment. Alright, we got the blinding light, sorry. Sorry guys, it's beautiful weather here. Budapest, Hungary. Our first low pressure system in ages. Lots of cool, clean air. No problem at all. Sharing that beautiful late summer day here with us. Alright. It was an entertaining game. Nice try. Jab, jab, hook. Jab, jab, hook with 100 games plus. Alright. My only request is that you have an established number of games if we're going to play. Guys, welcome to my stream. Also check out my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Guys, please subscribe and support the stream if you can make a donation. Donations have been a little slow. You can make a streaming donation on Streamlabs or just a bit donation here on lichess. So I decided to play d5. I normally don't play this, but for entertainment value, the so-called Mexican defense, kind of a fun thing. Okay, so I don't know. E4 is a variation. I don't really play this for white. I know queen d4 is a move, but it looks wrong. Oh, how bad can it be? How bad can it be? That's the question. Knight c3. Knight c3, I guess. e4, c5. I don't really know if I like it. e4 is a problem. e4, c5, queen e3. My development gets a little creepy. I don't like this for white, but I don't normally play it, as I said. White feels a little overextended. I'm going to have to lose a tempo at the very minimum. And this is a bad move. I think his position is fine, but he needs to attack my center with his pawns. But knight g4 clearly bad. This is a piece, right? Sacrificing a piece. No, the system isn't the best for white. I normally don't play d5. The so-called two knights tango for black. I've played with black, actually. It's like Crazy House now. Black's down a piece. Crazy House, your chances are probably reasonable with that sacrifice. Team battle on Sunday. Don't forget, guys. Thanks for that. No problem at all for the mention. And that rook on h5. Kind of acerbate style. Black is, well, it's typical, playing too fast. Too much material advantage for white here. The rook got trapped. It's not trapped, actually. Close enough, though. Close enough. It's not going anywhere. I don't think I played the best moves necessarily, but it's good enough. How about trapping the queen in mid-board? Pawn takes pawn, queen e5. That looks kind of difficult for black to not get the queen trapped here. We're winning a whole rook after bishop f4, queen f6. Back. Down. Down, Fido. We try not to be greedy. I don't know what to do. I'm having too much fun here. Material is overrated. It's a morning. Friday morning. Our streamer battle is at... Yeah, that's a morning too. Our streamer battle is on Sunday. Vital Evente organizes it. Tranquilizers team hosts it. Got about 8 teams, between 6 and 8 teams playing each week on Sundays at 3 p.m. Gets out of it. I couldn't resist the sort of cheapo for that mate on f8. Now there was sadly no mate. Alright. White played the opening well. You know, I think he has a good game there, but he has to be careful. There's no mate. Sadly, there is no mate. Not immediate. Now there will be. But I will show you, I mean, I think what he should have done in that opening. The whole thing looks okay, like queen d4. This has all been played before. Black probably has a decent score. First of all, I thought c5 was an interesting move. Alright, here. Maybe I played too passively, but I think these moves like c6 and e6. Black has to strive to open the position while he's ahead in development and try for opening the game. And be particularly careful with that knight not getting trapped by f4, for example. It's a good system for black. But this line I played isn't great. Like d5 probably isn't that great. I don't know if I can sack a pawn. I mean, maybe there's some kind of line like... I think I lost once doing something like this with white in a Blitz game. It doesn't look right, but it's... I swear. It's funny that no one dared to play knight takes c4, but I don't see a refutation of that. I'm almost 100% sure I had this exact game once. and it wasn't clear what's really going on. Okay, e5, knight g8 or something. Like a really weird opening. Thanks for the game. Yuhan Chess. Yuhan. Like Johan. You just woke up from a sci-fi nightmare. Yeah, I'm watching too much Twilight Zone, as I said earlier. I watch old sci-fi right before I go to bed. It's probably not the greatest idea. Princess Chess. Real life is a sci-fi nightmare. Why? Why do we need to just say it's waking up from a sci-fi nightmare? All right. So bishop e5. That's unusual line, but nothing wrong with it really. Never ever was popular with chess theory, this move. The unprovoked exchange. It's a little tricky playing with these bishops like this one here, where it's sort of blocked in many cases, or its job isn't clear. I think c5, bishop c6. To envision a plan where I can activate like that somehow, that's my best bet. Kasparov famously playing Kasparov playing against Karpov in the World Championship, in one of their World Championship matches. I don't know if g6 is even right here, honestly. I mean, it's okay. Kasparov famously retreated his bishop back to c8 and b7 in a sort of variation like this. So I do see this type of stuff pretty frequently. You won't find white set up in any books, as far as I know. But I'm very concerned about this pushing through here. It's probably okay for black. We have to be sure. If he tries to push e5, I think he's overextended. This is a very deep move, you know, to stop the control of g4. Do I have knight d5 now? Forcing simplifications. Or knight h5. Knight h5. It's possible it just doesn't work. Wow. He has one good move there. Maybe a couple. Okay, anyway, black should be okay. But strange system. Totally unbeknownst to any sort of opening theory. Just played by amateurs with white. So now take knight h5. It seems like I have multiple threats. White seems a little overconfident. I'm not real happy about people who threaten to hack my accounts coming on my stream. And right, Asterbate, the guy threatened to hack my Twitch account. Then he comes back on my stream and says, "Hi, what's up?" That seems somewhat abnormal, but maybe it's my imagination. I mean, that seems like a very serious threat. I mean, and then to show up like 2 weeks later and like, "Hi." Is it just my imagination, or do you think that's normal? It was horrible. He openly, in front of everybody, threatened to hack my Twitch account. We tried to report it to Amazon and Twitch. But I mean, that's pretty demented. Threatened. Hopefully. Just in case you're wondering why I just banned that account, I don't go around just like banning people randomly for saying hello on the stream. But I just want to point that out, you know. It's a very, very serious troll. So I have pretty much tolerance. When you start threatening serious things like that, I'm not going to have any tolerance for it. Like if you come back to my stream after threatening me, you know, it's not okay. Obviously. All right, where does my bishop belong here? On d6 or on f6? Or just f6, perhaps. We can play f6 ourselves, weakening our king side. A little tricky. I could take two. But I need this. I really want to keep my bishop. White seems really dangerous. I can tolerate trolling, you know, name calling, insulting, whatever. But when you start making tangible threats against me, that's where I draw the line. Otherwise, if I ban somebody, I'd be like, all right, I forgive you, you know, come back another time. We can bury the hatchet or whatever. But this was too much. You can't go on people's Twitch channels and threaten to hack their accounts and stuff. White has a very interesting style. Very aggressive. I was saying overconfident, you know. There are like different chess personality disorders. Some people are too timid, other players are too aggressive. White's problem is more that he's probably a little too aggressive. This was a tactical blunder. Now he may not lose a piece, luckily for him. So the rook can defend laterally. Take back, it's a different account. I don't understand what your deal is. And so the guy came back with another account. Of course I banned him. But I have to keep banning every new account that he creates. You understand, right? Like you can just come back and create a new account every week. Of course I banned him in the first time. And if I didn't, it was some sort of mistake. I think I banned him. But I mean, I've had this before. Luckily, like we haven't had too many trolls lately. But obviously, the problem with Twitch is that they're just creating endless accounts. I mean, it can go on forever. It can go on for years, while one player just harasses you. Yeah, ignore him. Well, not while he's posting comments in my stream. You would ignore that? You think it's okay? We'll just ignore it? threatened to like harm me or harm my account somehow, I would just ignore that. That's a little bit too strong. I ignore people who are like insulting and stuff, you know. But when you're threatening to damage me or my business or whatever, that's a little impossible to ignore, you know. All right. If they're just like a nasty person, I can ignore them. Dyrocon. So this is from Slovakia, our neighbor to the north. I try to be tolerant. Anyway, enough of that. So another classical Sicilian, we had bishop e5 last move. But this is more theoretical. I've lost a couple of games in this line recently with bishop e3. I lost a funny game against a strong player in the Streamer Mega Battle. We've got another Streamer Mega Battle on Sunday at 3 p.m. CEST. I lost in this line, bishop e5. Now he moved his bishop, which is totally illogical. This, bishop d7, knight c6. I had an endgame. Bishop e5, bishop d7, knight e3, knight c6, knight d1, knight d8. I think some kind of endgame that's supposed to be okay for me. Bishop g5 is actually a move. I've played that myself. In fact, against Hikaru Nakamura, I had this game. I guess I was black against Hikaru, actually. We had a draw where Hikaru played bishop g5 against me years ago. He was still pretty young, but very strong even then. But I've also played with white. But bishop g5 was the only alternative. The other move is bishop b5. One or the other. I've had other games where people did like queen e2. But giving up this bishop is really not a good idea in general, unless you get something for it. Jim. Why am I not winning a piece here? Oh, because of knight takes c6. Now I feel like I've faced this once before. That's odd. Now I'm having a flashback. I think there may have been a game where I faced this and I lost because I thought it just loses by force, but maybe it doesn't. Once in a while you also see like bishop c1. Maybe that was it. I lost against bishop c1. I can't remember. But e5 doesn't win a piece. Though it should be good for black. Padron Antoni, welcome. Queen b6, the problem is knight d5. It doesn't work right away. I have problems myself, though maybe it does work. Queen b6, knight d5, queen d4, knight c7 check, king d8, and I'm threatening mate on f2. Okay, but he can play bishop b5 as well. Queen b6, bishop b5, bishop d7. This is weird. The simplest line is e5, knight c6, bc6. And then I'm threatening like queen b6. Still not clear though. Queen b6, knight d5, queen d4. Queen b6, bishop b5. And then I have problems with the threat of knight to d5. So I don't know what to do. Queen b6, bishop b5, e5. Knight d5, queen d4. It's not clear. Very strange position. Oh, my head is confused. I guess, you know, it's funny, you could even play knight takes f2. Knight takes f2? No. That's too much. This is why I like to play 5+3, guys. We have some time to really think about it. Yeah, I mean, knight takes f2 is an idea I've used in these lines in the past. We really don't have that many options, though. Queen b6, bishop b5, queen d4, drops a queen. Did I say that? Queen b6, bishop b5. So queen b6, bishop b5, bishop d7, knight d5, queen d4. Queen b6, bishop b5, bishop d7. Alright, let's try it. The safest thing to do for me is e5, probably. Black is probably equal after e5, knight takes c6, b takes c6. But I decided to try this more provocative move. It's not that clear. Knight d4 I should have mentioned. Knight d4, queen d4, e5. Does it win a piece? No. Does it win a piece? I'll be very angry if I simply win a piece with that. There's bishop e5 check. Oh man, are you kidding me? Knight d4, queen d4, e5. I just assumed there was a reason why it doesn't win a piece. Man, I think you might be right. That's so stupid. I've never faced this exact move. I think bishop c1 has been played against me multiple times. This one, man, I just win a piece with knight d4, queen d4, e5. It's difficult to explain, but I feel like I've been there before, and it doesn't work for some reason. Like, white can sacrifice the piece. You've got to be careful. I mean, there's like queen, let's say bishop e5 check, or let's say queen c4, pawn takes f4, knight d5. Threats against c7, but that really shouldn't be enough. I would believe you that it probably does win a piece. But we'll check it after the game, see if white has any compensation. Maybe some sort of long-term piece sacrifice because the d5 square is bad and I'm behind in development, but I don't see it. Obviously, if it was a tournament game and I had more time, I would have considered all my options more deeply. And I already spent a lot of time on the more complex variations. Technically, that's the line I should look at first. I mean, as a chess teacher. So here, I think on another variation I didn't really consider deeply enough. Knight c7 I figured is good for black, but does he have another move? This move. Well, I don't know. I'm just not seeing it. We're up a piece here. We're up a piece. Obviously, I'm a little bit behind in development, but peace is peace. Peace to the world. I'm about to lose on time, though. That's a nice move. I gave him it back. I'm only up a pawn now. Pretty tricky player. But I am winning. Objectively, I'm not sure if I should play bishop g7 there or not. I'm up only one pawn, but it's an extremely powerful pawn on e5. With excellent chances to win, I presume. Whoever this is, he's exceptionally fast. Good player. I didn't know I was up against a speed player. I would have kept more time. He's got no bullet games. That's weird. But he should have taken on f4. Yeah, this was a bad game all around. Sloppy, hesitant. I'm missing tactics. Using too much time. It's not objectively winning. I mean, black's just better. One pawn shouldn't necessarily be winning. And my extra pawn is doubled. So I'm a little over-optimistic there. Good practical chances. I have protected pass pawn on e5. I mean, that should be winning in a lot of situations. I think I was winning a piece. Bishop e5 check here. I don't know to play king d8. I don't think so. I think I'll just go back and try a different approach. But white has good chances, still keeping the pieces on the board. Did he get disconnected or something? No. But this is a huge mistake by white. Definitely don't want to fix my pawns. I mean, unless he can win that f5 pawn. Step planes. Whoa. You can do that? Man, he missed bishop e3, that wouldn't matter. Okay, so he's lost now. Very poorly played by me. By white too. We both made a lot of mistakes. Does anybody follow NFL football? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach criticized Tom Brady's performance. And I feel like that right now. I could lie and say you played well. If I'm being politically correct. That will stoke Tom Brady's ego. But objectively, we played bad, both of us. If it'll make you feel better, Tom, you played well. I like to get in relevant, up-to-date jokes. So, bishop e3, knight g4, bishop f4. Does it just lose a piece? Wow. Well, I feel better. There is a defense, strangely. That move I didn't see. But I think that in my subconscious somewhere, I had stored this away. I knew it didn't work. It's funny because I looked at this. I looked at takes, e5, check, queen d7, bishop d7, queen d1. Actually, this doesn't lose a piece either, right? Okay, so I did see this. It's not so clear. I can't just win a piece. The other variation is also not clear. As I said, this is my best move. But it's not much. It's funny. It's like playable for white. Actually happened in one game. White is only slightly worse. No, so I couldn't win a piece. But our subsequent play was bad. Queen b6 is interesting. So knight d4, queen d4, e5, queen d1. I missed this entirely. That's pretty deep, though. I mean, this, check, and then king e7. Welcome to the jungle. Knight d5, mate and 6. Oof. Yeah. That's not good. So it's not everything as it seems here. Not so easy. At least I was right to think a lot. Finally, I played queen b6, and this is apparently not a big deal. Bishop b5. I was preparing to play bishop d7. And this is apparently good for white. Wow. So queen b6 is just a mistake. I have to play e5 directly, allow this line, and he has bishop g3, guarding f2. So I don't have a double attack. It's equal. Approximately equal, maybe. Maybe white is a little bit worse. Alright. But we both played badly in the end of that game, I'm pretty sure. Tom Brady. Alright guys, we got some more time left. We've got time left. Bronze Tiger, Marco. Not winning on the spot, exclamation point, all due to king exposure. That's why you should try to castle fast. Well, the problem with the Sicilian, as you know, Antoni, is that that's part of the whole strategy of the opening. Your king isn't castling fast. It's not e45. Oftentimes you have to leave your king in the center. It's double-edged. So this is a line I've been playing a lot. Schieberspieler played... What was it, actually? Well, Schieberspieler must have played knight c3, right? Okay, that's the most sharp move. Knight c3. Maybe best. e3 is different. Now I have knight h5. It takes me a while. Oh, I didn't play knight h5. I'm supposed to play knight h5 right away. I got confused and played c5. I played this once before. It's not that bad. No, but I'm supposed to play knight h5 directly in this position. Alright. Now I have to take your guy. The London system is like a plague. I had this one guy who like attacked my g6 pawn with 7 pieces, I think. It's crazy. One track mind. I'm just waiting for white to castle queenside so I can checkmate him over there. Try to be fluid. White just castles into an attack if he castles queenside. It's again the one-track mind. It's crazy. Who teaches these people to play like this? Is it Eric Rosen? Is he to blame for this? It's crazy, man. Probably I should exchange pawns. He's 1390 with 1,000 in bullet. I blame Eric Rosen. Magnus Carlsen takes a lot of the blame, though. He's a little more famous and relevant. The London system. It's not principled play by white. You're leaving your king in the center. You structure a shot. Black has the 2 bishops. It's just better for black. Now the question is, what do I do? Bishop d5. I might lose a pawn. Check. He has b4. That's alright. I don't know, white seems awfully good for 1390. He's used 20 seconds for the whole game, and he's like 1,000 in bullet. Is that even possible? Can you be 1,000 in bullet and play like this? Using 20 seconds for the whole first 16 moves? It's unbelievable. He's more like 1900. Like you, but worse. Okay, tactic mistake. Finally. I've been doing a lot of tactics puzzles lately, which is something that's not typical for me. But this still doesn't win. His bishop takes f7 check. Oh my god. So we got another tactic puzzle. Rook takes. Man, extended tactics puzzles. You're telling me this guy's 1390 and he played the whole game in 40 seconds, right? You imagine threats that weren't there, Dairokan from the last game. Yeah, I mean, you have good chances to draw. You're down a pawn only in that game. But here white now, what? Giving up that piece. What choice does he have? Why didn't he take with a rook? He has to take with a rook. But actually, bishop takes, knight takes, rook c8, and then knight e3, rook c1 check, knight back. He's holding on. So that was a mistake. Playing too fast. Weird. Alright, whatever. That was actually pretty stressful. I'm not sure I played this well either. In principle, yes. But... and white is part of the London system epidemic. The epidemic. How does a high tactics rating more or less guarantee a high blitz rating? Well, a high tactics rating might be anything. It might be somebody using a computer to do tactics. I never ever get help from other people. But I haven't done too many on this account here. You know, I'm talking about other sites and everywhere in general. My tactics rating is actually kind of low. I think I'm better than that. Though it's funny, when I do tactics puzzles on this account, I get really insanely hard puzzles. Even though my tactics rating isn't that high. Isn't that weird? Like, why? Why do I seem to get harder puzzles than other people? Even though my tactics rating isn't that high. I seem to get, like, impossible puzzles all in a row. Like, no matter how much my rating goes down, I'm still at, like, 2350. I'm still getting, like, impossible puzzles. It's weird. But in general, I mean, if someone needs, like, 2600 in puzzles, they should be really strong in Blitz. Otherwise, they're just like cheating on the puzzles or something, you know? Alright guys, we have time for like 3 or 4 more games. I get puzzles that are like 2400 puzzles. Guys, thanks for subscribing. Please support the stream if you can. And come by for our events on Sunday. We have a streamer battle, which I do with some other streamers. Vita Levente, Mircea, the LNX Excellencies, to name a few. So it's the Smith-Morra Gambit, which I've been bashing of late. Okay, let's play this line, which everybody else plays, which I never play. I feel like the bishop on c4 is bad here. I was just looking at this yesterday, thus the reason for me playing it here. I've never played this line. I was looking at bishop g5 yesterday. According to theory, maybe one of black's best chances is this variation. Jackfire says I was 2400 puzzle rating, they got hard puzzles. But I have a feeling like somehow the puzzle ratings must work that like once you go up, like it doesn't get easier again or something like that, because no matter how many I get wrong, I just keep getting hammered by like really, really tough puzzles. Now, it seems like it's over for me. I never get a break. There's no more easy ones. You'd think like when your rating went down on the puzzles, you would start getting easier ones again, but I just keep getting hard ones. Seems like that's it. Like I'm done. It's very hard for me to gain puzzle rating back. If I'm not like really in a clear-headed mode, like I can't even gain any points. I have to be extremely fresh. If I'm a little bit tired, I'll probably lose like 50 points doing puzzles. Exactly, I have like the lowest possible puzzle K factor. Precisely. But I was never a heavy-duty puzzle doer. A little bit, but not. Now it's like a huge trend. And it's cool, and people are getting better tactically because of it, for sure. So the average player can now improve more quickly in that aspect of the game. Strategic play is not easy to improve. Alright, so my impression was that the main line was like bishop g5 here, but I'm sure queen e2 is okay. So now you play bishop e3. But the thing is with bishop g5, like, you can force black to weaken his king side. I mean, it seems like that's probably optimal. Now there are piece sacrifices with knight d5. And as I said a minute ago, I never play this line with black, so I'm just experimenting here. I get predictable and I play the same lines against the Morra all the time. Chess tempo is pretty good. That's probably the best site for puzzles. So knight d5. Again, serious threat. I'm a little reticent with the queen side, you know, to play like b5 because it can get attacked by a4. And I have no familiarity with this type of line. But I wanted to try it. I mean, the engine and the opening book on lichess both concur that the setup with like e6 is black's best. e6 and a6. And then you can decide whether to play b5 immediately or play knight e7. But again, I'm not an expert at all here. But Marco has misplayed this. He played bishop g5 in 2 moves. I mean, it has to be a serious loss of time. Now black, pretty solid. I can defend my d6 pawn with rook d8. Knight b5 sacrifices. My bishop is defended, so there's no nonsense there. Seems like just, I hate to say it, but I'm just a pawn up, you know. Black is just a pawn up here. Does white have some compensation? I guess he does. What's the compensation? Open files. Pressure on the open files, like standard. How much compensation does white have? King Marcher, thank you for the kind compliment. He said that you'd like to thank for the commentary. You learned a lot watching the streams. That's what I try to do. You know, I really want to. Well, I love the game, and as you can feel if you watch me, although I do this like for financial benefit to some degree, my primary reason for doing it is that I love chess, and I also have principles. I don't want to just play bullet or mindlessly promote being a chess zombie. I want to try to teach chess as I believe it should be played, so I try to make it instructive. Life is short, we might as well play chess correctly, or at least attempt to. So I try to be instructive. First attempt here with the e6 Mora with black. The Mora Gambit became more and more popular of late, like the London system in a way. Chess is becoming more popular with new players online. They want something that's easy to learn and kind of simple system, if you will. So this is why I think we see an serious increase in popularity with this line. All right, so knight e5 worth considering. Black is in no danger of losing. Black is clearly better, but it's only one pawn. One pawn objectively is often not enough to win the game. Most often not enough to win the game. That's all there is to it. Two pawns I feel very comfortable with in almost any situation. There's a big difference. One pawn up. My knight on g6 is bad here. He has pressure on the d file. This is not a winning position for black. Black is just better. Queen d4. Difficult choice. White might consider taking with the knight, you know. Taking with knight, it's a star player. Difficult to shake. I can't play e5 without weakening this. So I think that's possibly an error. You are in error with queen takes d4. But still, it's not a bad move. He can always move away. Actually, he has a problem there. Yeah, e4 counterplay. He's tied down to that pawn, the lonely pawn. So I have a bad knight. You're tied down to this pawn. I'm up a pawn. How are my chances? Chances to win are good. Is it a winning position? No. Practically, black is much better. But there's a long way between being better and winning the chess game. There's this stupid quote. Somebody said, like, the hardest thing to win is a one position. But it's true. Euphemism. Queen b4, a5, queen a5, bishop takes e4. If I could get that pawn on e4, we could unleash devastating hurricane of power against the white king side. Imagine the power we have on this long diagonal. If you take away that e4 pawn, hello. Unfortunately, f5, Marco's using too much time. f5 I can't play. So he protects. Knight f4 doesn't do anything. Well, not necessarily true. Puts the knight on a monster square, actually. There is an issue with queen d2, but in order to get rid of this knight, how is he going to do it? Queen e3, queen d2. So let's say I play queen f6. Or g3 weakens his king side. Just what I was thinking. This is hanging as well. g3 weakens his king side very seriously. Though knight h3 check may not cut it. Schieberspieler, what's up? What do you play against the Mora when you're black? You do play the Sicilian sometimes. I think I just have to go home here, sadly. But man, welcome to the diagonal. Carving the turkey. Thanksgiving is not that far away. Carving the long diagonal. Dropped a rook. I'm never looking for one-move tactics like hanging rooks. Let's see the theory just before we go on to the next game. My first time playing this line. So this is what you play. This is exactly what I just did. So it's interesting, bishop g5 or queen e2. You know, I don't know. But I like the fact that I was speaking about this other day with one of my students who actually plays the Mora. I mean, the positive thing with bishop g5 is that you actually force black to weaken his structure. That seems like a reasonable idea to me. So I play b5. This is funny. I saw this another Kishpal game recently. Kishpal's a good player. So it's funny that no one else has played b5. I would think it would be a transposition though. You know, knight e7 to g6 is the normal move. This has to be a transposition. Yeah. We just transposed to a different line with earlier b5. And now rook d1, knight g6, bishop e3. You know, again, like bishop g5 is just a little late now, maybe. I don't know. The computer thinks you're better. Wow. That's my lack of familiarity. I'm afraid of knight d5. I don't know if you guys have much familiarity with this position. My concern is the threat of knight to d5 with knight b6. He's got control of b6. So I guess bishop e7 is okay. Maybe that's the best move. Alright, interesting. My first time playing that. Okay, so we got time for these last two games at least. Padron Antonio, what? I just wanted to try that, you know, because it is recommended for black as one of black's best lines. But again, I don't have any experience. Alright, so we had out London already. It's like a plague. Please stop playing the London. Stop the plague. We just had one already. Like I tried to play the same line I played against you, Schieberspieler. But my opponent didn't play knight c3. It was a traditional Kamsky style London. Not a modern take. This is my other new. Not that new, actually. I mean, I always play like this with white a lot. Yeah, I always have my favorite openings here. The Smith-Morra and the London. I'm like an expert, man. But the funny part was, I was joking about that before the last tournament. One of the openings that I see a lot, of course, any kind of club openings, Smith-Morra, London, the Grand Prix attack. And what do I get like the first game of my tournament? Of course, the Grand Prix attack. Bishop f7. Remember this Austrian IM played like this against me with white? 1996 Vienna Open. He wasn't an IM, but he was like 2400. I don't know. Adolf Herzog. I think he's still around. But man, I mean, I was surprised that a 2400 player would play such a setup with white. Remember, I beat him. He was pissed after the game, and I didn't understand why. And I'm lower rated, but he didn't play well. It was a good game by me. I understand if you're pissed if you like blundered or your opponent got lucky, but don't be pissed. Don't be pissed after you played badly and he played well. So I looked at this, the first thing I checked, but Shrutarta just went for it anyway. Obviously, if white had queen b3, maybe they would have something. But here it's busted. There's nothing here for white. Even if you have queen b3, I'm probably fine. White's just down a piece now. Guys, welcome to my stream. We've got about 20 minutes left in the stream, a little more. I'm taking challenges 5+3. Okay, so now the 96. You could support it with like d5, which would be mildly annoying. So let's see if we can figure out a way to play this in a convenient and comfortable way. Queen d7, pretty obvious, but it leaves my knight with no square. I could go here, here. I think that's the right plan. It would cover e6 as well. Honestly, I was looking at knight h5, but I'm up a piece and I really want to get developed. There's this new dog in my house. I hope you guys enjoy it. In my building. It sounds kind of far away though. And Tony, any thought about your next tournament adventure? So we're glad to get rid of that. Goodbye. It was nice knowing you. But you're not welcome to occupy that location any longer. Take toward the center. We can chip away with c6. Trying to bring another one in. It's lucky that I'm not anti-immigration. I support immigration, just not into my position. This knight is a migrant knight from the queen side to the king side. Undermining the center though. This will take out d5 and the support of e6. Ambulances seem quiet today. There must be a cutback or something. I had this like paranoia that they were like empty ambulances, just sort of fulfilling some quota over the last couple of years. I had all sorts of paranoid delusions that the ambulances that you would hear every 5 minutes were just like trial runs or practice. There were just too many. There was just too many. It was like impossible that there's an ambulance every 5 minutes. I've lived in other cities. That just doesn't happen. But yeah, it's really quiet today. Beautiful weather here for the first time since like June, by the way. White had a bad game. White had a bad game this game. Fighting for my right to light squares. Yes. White will eventually get to castle here too, which is a little disturbing. How about rook b8? You know, maybe it's almost like a developing move. It's not protected, I know, but it will be eventually. So the plan is h6, king h7. To not play rook b8 is like fear of ghosts. What's going to bother my rook on b8? The magic bishop is going to miraculously attack b8. That's paranoia in the chess world. So queen a5. All right. What's going to attack me? There it is. Queen c7. Nice little trick. It's actually real now. It's actually a real problem now. I have to prevent that. Can no longer ignore the threat of queen c7 invading here. Jockeying for a position. White is a clear piece down. So what is this? e4, c5, d4, cd4, c3, e5. You know what's funny? Like, I've had so many people. Blobix was another one. He keeps saying e5, e5. I've never seen anyone play e5 against Zamora in a serious game. But apparently it's kind of like an underrated variation. I like White's play, man. He's going a little too far. Put your bishops on the long diagonals and take things. Now we're serious. It's like the Incredible Hulk. I'm angry. You should get, like, what engine are you using, Antoni, to analyze with? By the way, if I may ask. I'd really like to prevent White from castling here. This feels a little materialistic. Once, that reminds me, when I was in college, in the Computer Science Center at Boston University. This was like in the late 90s or the mid 90s, and I was in the Computer Science Center playing chess on like an old chess site, and one of the professors or grad students that was like a supervisor of the computer science I don't know what you call it, computer lab, was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm playing chess." He's like, "You're not allowed to do that." I was like, "Dude, I'm the state champion of Massachusetts." I was really insulted. Alright, enough. He still didn't care. You're not allowed to use the computer, the university computers, for playing chess. Alright, now, it's another London system player. You're not allowed to play the London. I like how Asturbate's opponent yesterday invented a new move in the two knights defense, though. Schieberspieler, were you here yesterday? When maybe not. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop C4, knight F6, D3, A6. Have you ever seen anyone play that? Asturbate's opponent played 4A6 against the slow Joko with the two knights out. It's actually not the slow Joko, so whatever. Two knights defense with D3. Black played the move A6. It's actually a cool idea, but I don't think it has any independent value, really. But it's kind of funny. So Leela seems better than Stockfish. Well, I mean, one thing is that Stockfish's evaluations are exaggerated. Like, Stockfish's numeric evaluations are always too high. But I mean, we kind of know that, so. You had COVID symptoms. Maybe it's just something normal. Yeah, 4A6. It's like, it's insane. It's totally playable. No one's ever played it. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, it totally makes sense. If you try to do the fried liver attack with knight g5, you can try to do the delayed fried liver. It's kind of interesting. That's an interesting position. A6, knight g5, and then it's like a variation on the fried liver, but seemingly okay for black. There's no refutation of a6. I think that all white can really do is transpose. It's just funny to me that I couldn't find any games where it had ever been played at all. So this is the Marshall defense. Danny Kopeck variation by transposition. Maybe e4 is a mistake here. Perhaps I should just play g3, go for a fianchetto Catalan. Might be a mistake by me. Let's see, b3, e6, bishop b2. I feel like I had this game before. It was funny because Astrobate's opponent played 4a6, innovated on the fourth move of the two knights game, and then he just hung all of his pieces like it was like anti-chess or whatever. He comes up with the greatest novelty of the 21st century, and then just drops all of his pieces. You like e4. Now black's threatening bishop takes it. I can play a3, take back with the knight. It actually looks good. I don't know, though, how am I going to keep my center protected here? Bishop takes, knight c6, maybe bishop b5. That's a little worrisome. Black's continuation, though, probably not good. That was now black is too passive. A little bit too passive. I'm not sure what I should do. It's the Caro-Kann, knight e5. How about h4? h4, h6, knight e5. Knight e5 with the idea of h4. You like this bishop pair. Can black play c5? Looks a bit dangerous. I have time probably, guys, for one more game. So Ved GM. Ved GM challenged me. Can you re-challenge me to 5+3? Ved GM, if you're listening, can you change your challenge to increment with 3 seconds? White has everything. I must take the bishop now. I'm so sad. I'm so sad for this great knight on e5. Man, c5 is a problem. Make your bishops great again. These bishops, which have more herd mentality, bishops or knights? What do you guys think? I'm being serious now. F5 was just a really bad move. This totally weakens these squares. I can't imagine black can survive this. It reminds me of Courtney Love for some reason. She had this album, right? live through this. This is the chess equivalent of Courtney Love. F5. Oh my god. Yeah, this isn't looking good. If you insist, I will take that. Done. Done. Black is not doing too well here. We have some pretty nasty threats. Maybe nothing immediate, but the white squares are gone. Gone. Everything is good. I should get my king out of the center, I admit. Castling queenside probably wasn't a real good idea there. I was looking at take, rook a4, bishop c3. Queen e8 is a good move by black in general. Gotta be careful, kids. Be careful. So chess tempo. Marketing. Padre Antonio is the marketing chief of Chess Tempo. And it's part-time. Somebody from the chess world sent me this message on lichess yesterday telling me that they wanted to ask me if I was interested in doing videos for their site, you know, the marketing manager for for the site, the chess world. He didn't seem to be aware of the fact that I've already done 2 video series for the chess world. That's a bad sign, though, you know. It's a bad sign when your marketing manager doesn't know who's made videos for the site. He quoted this long list of players. I think it was just a spam mail. I'm getting tons of spam mail on lichess. Shares of what company? Oh, where they're offering me to do videos for the site that I already did them on? Always a good sign. Oh, chess tempo. I don't know. A take back? Why does he want to take back? He wanted to play b5. It was a mouse slip. I understand. So it's not easy to finish black off here. We have a huge position. Huge. Like, Donald Trump ruined almost all good words. Huge, Trump. Bigly. Can't use anything anymore. And I don't know what to do. Yeah, I would think Chess Tempo just has advertising. How do I finish black off here? My gosh. I'm in trouble on the clock. No time for collecting pawns. Could almost get mated in some lines if I'm not careful. Knight c3 is controlled. Watch the h3 square. Another knight fan. Yeah, that's a great idea. I have kind of no idea what I'm doing now. But eventually something good has to happen. Eventually. You can go there. What? That's annoying. Wow. He's got a minute left. What? How is this not mate somehow? He offers me a draw? Are you kidding me? No draw. I'm gonna take my chances. All right, now he's got me. I draw my bishop. I had a mate. I'm just concerned about losing on time. I think I was winning the whole game, but time was my only problem. Still not easy to finish him off. It's so annoying that those knights defend each other. It's brutal. We have a lot of fans of knights around here. Tricked me. I can't believe I did that. Eventually we're gonna win though. To the bitter end. Alright guys, I gotta go. Next stream is on Sunday. 2 streams on Sunday. Streamer Mega Battle at 3 p.m. and Simul at 6:30. Sunday, so it's 3 p.m. Mega Battle. Please join us. I don't know. We were probably better this whole game, but I was really sloppy. Final mention. Simul on Sunday, 6:30 CEST. Thanks everybody for playing and watching. Thanks for stopping by, Sheeperspieler. Good to have our honorary team captain here. Thanks to the new players. Good to see you guys. Dairoken, for example. Thanks guys for subscribing to the stream. Please make a donation now and then to support the stream if you can. And check out my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Much appreciated. So anyway, from the Panda and myself, I will see you guys. Have a great weekend. And good chess to all of you. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you Sunday for the Streamer Mega Battle. Don't forget, okay? We love you all. Bye-bye.